Thank you, Herminia. We'll get a chance to debate some of those issues. And now I'd like to welcome Vineet, who you've already met at a previous session, who has achieved great transformation himself through a type of leadership that he's going to help describe to us. Vineet.
So I have a timer here. This is not a mobile phone I wish to use. I'm here to tell you a story of 90,000 people who decided that they're going to transform themselves and their company and change the fortune. They increased their revenues by 7-fold and market cap by 10-fold. While listening to a lot of these sessions, one thing which crossed my mind is that had I been to this session in 2005, I would have thought a lot and done very little. Fortunately, I didn't have these inputs. And therefore, we experimented a lot, and fortunately for us, a lot worked. So as I tell this story, take it with a pinch of salt, because these were series of experiments which we undertook, and a lot of them worked. They are not research facts, and therefore, I'm not telling you that this is the way you should do it. So let's begin. Imagine you are standing on a ledge of a building. And imagine that the building is on fire and you are on the 3rd floor. And in 30 seconds' time, you have to take a decision to jump and take a risk of killing yourself or hurting yourself, or stay put and take a risk of burning to death. And let's assume, for instance, that you, as a very smart leader, know the answer. How long will you take to take the decision? Maybe a second, maybe a microsecond, maybe 2 seconds. But let's add a little complexity to this situation. Let's assume that you're standing on that ledge of the building which is on fire on the 3rd floor, and all your colleagues are standing with you, 10, 20, 100, 1,000, for my case, 90,000. And let's say, as a leader, you're the only guy who knows that the right answer is to jump. Nobody else knows. And you have 30 seconds to implement the decision before everybody gets burned. And you tell all your team members to jump. What do? They jump because you said so? Or they don't jump because you said so? Or some of them jump and some of them don't. And therefore, in 30 seconds' time, the team you had is not the team you have. It is very important for us to understand, to execute any great idea, you need the team to jump with you. So the year was 2005. I was standing on a ledge of a building which was burning. There were 30,000 of us that time, 90,000 now. And we didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to transform. We had great vision, we had great ambition, we had great hunger, we had everything, but we didn't know what to do. We looked at the Japanese very carefully and said, actually, they didn't transform the cars they manufactured, they transformed how they manufactured the car. So is there a possibility of innovation and disruptive innovation, not on the what axis of what you do, but actually how you do it? Can increasing the clock speed of an organization, can changing the culture of the organization become its competitive advantage? Can we outgrow our competition, outsmart our competition, and grow twice the industry average by transforming ourselves on the culture axis? We ask ourselves the fundamental questions I talked about yesterday. What is the business we are in to create differentiated value for our customers? Who creates the differentiated value? Our employees in the interface of our customers and us. That's the value zone. And therefore, what should the business of managers and management be? Our answer, the business of managers and management, has to be nothing but to enthuse, encourage, enable those employees to create the magic they create so that the company can grow faster. And that was the birth of the concept called employee first, customer second. But as is true with everything, great ideas are great, but if they are not executed well, it'll not work. And since I was born on the same day as Mahatma Gandhi, it really occurred to me that Mahatma Gandhi landed on the shores of India in 1915. Was Mahatma Gandhi the inspiration leader India was looking for to get independence? The answer is yes. Was non-violence the inspirational idea, the market-shaping idea, which could get India independence? The answer is yes, because he had practiced it for 7 years in South Africa. So here was an inspirational leader with an inspirational idea. Then why did it take us 38 years to get independence? What was missing? And what was missing is that other than Mahatma Gandhi and few other people, nobody wanted to be independent. So the first learning for us is that we needed an architecture of transformation before we get into the execution of our idea. And what is the architecture of transformation? Our learning from the history is it's a three-step process, and that is what we implemented. The first is create the need for change. Mirror, mirror on the wall, we are the ugliest of all. Unless there is no dissatisfaction with status quo, nobody is going to change. And therefore, unless you understand completely that you are the slaves of British Raj, and you are not free unless that dissatisfaction exists, there is no way, irrespective of how great Mahatma Gandhi was or how great his idea was, nobody is going to follow him, and transformation is not going to happen, independence is not going to happen, freedom is not going to happen. So we went across the company and threw all the dirty linen in public and saying, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. A lot of people left. A lot of people got scared. But we didn't get scared because we were attracting the plumbers, as I said yesterday. The plumbers who get opportunity of fixing things, the diamond cutter who get excited with rough diamonds, the clay, the potters who get excited by rough clay. We got all the transformers coming in because they got excited by the problems we were posing in the company openly and transparently and saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, we are the ugliest of all. Second step was defining a vision of tomorrow which is so compelling that people will jump out of their seats and go and work for you. What is that vision? We want to be $100 billion? We want to be number one in this market? No, that's the company's vision. That's a CEO vision. That's a board vision. That's not my vision. In that vision, I don't see anything for me in that vision. What is my vision? Why should I participate in your transformation journey? We struggled with that answer. And then we experimented with an idea which worked. In an open house with 5,000 people, I was asked in my first day, Vineet, what's your vision for the company? And I said, I don't have one. I have none. He said, you are stupid. I said, I know that. But you have to stick with me. But I have a vision for you. He said, what is the vision for us? I said, every time you go out in the party and shake hands, and somebody asks you, where do you work? What's your answer? Do you say, I work for an IT services company? Do you say, or do you say HCL? Tell me honestly. 90% of the people raise their hand and saying they do not mention the word HCL. And I said, my vision for you tomorrow is that in 5 years' time, when you go to a party and shake hand, 90% of you will say HCL when asked, where do you work? And the response will be HCL. Wow. And the reason for defining that vision, at that time, the employees hated me. They did say, this guy doesn't have a vision. He's too soft. And, where did we get this guy from? But increasingly, every single employee, and I repeated this in every open house, every single employee tried to search for that experience in every handshake. And as we started becoming more and more successful, that employee started experiencing the vision in every handshake. Our attritions dramatically went down. They became half of the industry. Our growth rate started going up. And the employees started feeling proud of belonging to HCL, and they started experiencing that in the handshake. So after creating the dissatisfaction and creating a vision for tomorrow was the third step, which is very important. Is the journey from point A to point B is never a straight line. In practice, it is never a straight line. It is a series of experiments. I'm a science graduate, engineer. And one thing we have always discovered is great inventions are created out of getting a lot of hypotheses wrong. Whereas we as CEOs drive to the office and then communicate to the organization that while I was driving to the office, I saw this red light, and suddenly an idea bloomed to me that we should be in South Africa. Wow! And then everybody in the organization applauds this CEO who has this great idea and just waits for him to fail, or waits for him to get on to the next idea. So every initiative in HCL we launched was actually an experiment. And everybody shaped the experiment. I'll just give you an example. There was a trouble ticket software we created where every employee would be able to open a ticket on the company, and the company will guarantee a response and resolution of the problem in a limited period of time. We will guarantee that. The first month we created the trouble ticketing system, and we have, I don't remember, about 25,000 tickets, and 99% of them we closed on time. And I threw a party for all my enabling finance, HR, and quality, and everybody else, and saying, well done. Till one girl stood up and saying, I said, what's the problem? She says, Vineet, you're stupid. I said, this is the second time I heard it. Tell me why. He says, which CEO celebrates the existence of 27,000 problems in the company? And that day, it occurred to me that actually we should not be in the business of rewarding the speed at which we close the ticket. We should be rewarding the non-existence of the ticket in the first instance. And that day, because of that 21-year-old girl from a reactive organization, we became a proactive organization. And therefore, everybody will, there is a huge democratization movement which happened in the company, because of which policies will be launched only if they were agreed by everybody. So that was the architecture we implemented, and then we implemented the trust through transparency, inverting the organization pyramid, transferring the ownership of change to our employees, and all that which formed the basis of employee first, customer second. So let me end this by saying the following. I don't know what the right answer for transformation of brick-and-mortar companies is. I don't know where you will find the leaders who will have the intensity and passion to execute it. But I know only one thing, that if you are not trying to do it every day, in your own way, there is no way you will get to your optimum level. And that is the only mantra I believe in. Thank you.